Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, the podcast. And the lady sitting across from me right now, you may or may not be familiar with. She was on a podcast of mine probably about a year ago, something like that, and just rocked it with her business. And now she's here. She is running for District 64 as in the state rep seat. And her name is Miss Kellie Alford. So first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Jim, for having me. It's always a pleasure.
I'm fired up today, and
Happy Monday.
We're going to talk about, that's right, Mondays. Mondays are the best, and we're going to talk all about what you bring to the table in District 64. And I guess we'll kick it off with, tell us a little bit about your family. You're very family oriented.
Very much so.
So tell us about your husband and your kids and all that good stuff.
Well, I've been married to Scott Alford for over 25 years.
Yes.
He truly is my soulmate.
Yeah.
And the best sign guy out there.
Yeah.
That's his job, and he does a great job. Now, granted, there's a couple signs, and we won't get to them.
Right.
But I have 3 adult children,
Yeah.
Peyton, Grace, and Haven. And then I have 2 grandbabies, John Walker
Grandbabies.
and Rinley's. Yeah,
Wow.
John Walker and Rinley,
Wow.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
And
no, I love my family, and a lot of what I do, obviously, is for my family, and this
Yes.
is one of them.
yeah. And you've helped run that business. As a matter of fact, you were very involved, especially in the accounting side of your business with your husband, and had done that for about 15 years or so before you decided to throw your hat into this.
Yes. Scott and I started the business in 2008.
Yeah.
At that time, I was still raising kids. I was still the stay-at-home mom, but I would do
that's work.
It is. It is.
That's way more than working in a business.
It
I
is.
can tell you.
And raising, successful children, morally sound, patriotic children.
Yeah.
To me, that is a hard job in this society. So
100%.
and I'm blessed to say that they've come out really wonderful. But yeah, we started the business, and so I would do things in the evening time whenever the kids went to bed. And then, of course, as they got older and, a little self-sufficient, can take care of themselves, I started to go into the office more. And then, of course, we went full out 100%. I went to work.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have an office at that time. Scott was pen and paper, do the job, send, requests for, the payment, and that was it. And it was my job that, when I got in there, I was like, we need to have policies, we need to have procedures, we need to have, a system to invoice and, receive payment. We need to, and just little steps as we grew as a company, because we grew organically every year.
Yes.
But exceptionally, I mean, we had to, a lot of times, pull the reins on our growth because, quality was more important than quantity for us. So,
Love that. Yeah.
So, as we grew, I would expand into other things, got more employees, more than just 2 or 3. We get now 10 employees. We need to have employee handbooks. We need to have, policy in the area of, our employees and what, is their responsibility is and what the company's responsibility is, dealing with taxes, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Contracts.
Yeah.
When we started getting commercial properties and we expanded in commercial with Bass Pro Shops and Don Seafood and White Oak Estates, we had to have a contract. We needed to have something to protect us because we were so old school. The handshake meant everything.
Absolutely.
You have my word, and that's the way it's going to be. So, those are the things that I brought to the table as far as our company is concerned, is everything operational where the office is concerned.
I love that. And that was, it's great preparation for a position such as a state rep, because you wear so many different hats in a business. I wish there were a law that required you to own a business before you stepped into any sort of political position. Yeah. Because the thing with business owners is we know that struggle. I mean, you and Scott can both I can speak to looking at a checkbook and saying, man, I hope I make enough money to make the bills this month.
Exactly.
All of us have it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and you learn to kind of toughen up and push forward, and then you get blessed, and and through that hard work, and hopefully you see a lot of success. And y'all have seen a lot of success, not without that struggle though, and that's appealing.
Well, the biggest thing to me, you know, I'll never forget when we crossed that $1 million threshold, and it was so, you know, we were so excited about it. And but at the same time,
I'd have a sign on the. I'd be like, yeah.
Look, I was so upset. I was like,
I made $1 million.
You know, the $1 million, you know, social media. But really, truly, it was, you know, it was a huge step, and we were excited about it. But with that step came more responsibility. Yeah. And one thing I am proud of with our company is we are fiscally responsible. Our main priority with Albert's Landscaping, outside of quality service, is our employees. Yeah. And when we hire people, we don't want to have to let them go. Yeah. And in our industry, it's seasonal, you know, and so a lot of times you get to that winter season, and in the beginning of our business, we would have to let people go in hopes that we would get them back, because we have a family-minded business, and it's an atmosphere that we've created, and all our people who come, you know, we treat them as family. And so it's like letting some of your family go. So we determined and purposed in our heart that we were going to do whatever it took to make sure that we maintained our employees. Yeah. And that never happened again. And I'm proud to say that we've been able to do that. And it's because we've made hard decisions with finances. We don't spend what we don't have. You know,
imagine that concept.
Exactly. And what we do have, we spend wisely. And so, you know, with the growth came more responsibility, but it also taught us so much in how you can actually, you know, make those good decisions and see the outcome, which the outcome was going through wintertime or rainy seasons and still maintaining our employees.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a great lesson to bring to the Capitol. Yeah. Would you say government as a whole has a kind of a spending problem?
100%. Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yes. It's, and, you know, for Louisiana, we have such a great opportunity, in my opinion. I have such a hope in my heart, and it's why I want to be a part of it so much. Yeah. We have a great opportunity to turn our state around or start the process. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to require hard decisions. It's going to require hard work. But we have that opportunity because, you know, for so long, we've looked to the federal government for funding, for everything. And when we get it, we attach programs and we create even departments sometimes, and it's unsustainable income. And then when that money stops, that's when, now I'm asking the taxpayer, I need you to, you know, fund this because it's, you know, we started it. Yeah. And a lot of, there's just been bad decisions made, and we got to undo some of that, and we need to start making some good decisions. Yeah.
Well, and you know, what I find that business owners tend to do, which you are the one in this race that has never, you know, as far as politics are concerned, this is kind of your first go at this. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that makes for the best, I don't want to say politicians, but the best public servants, because they know how to manage money. Number one, they know how to manage people. Number two, number three, at the Capitol, one of the things, you know, we've known each other a while. I consider you a very good friend. And one thing you're very good at is forming relationships with people. Yeah. Super important at the Capitol, probably. And so that's something that you also bring to the table that you need. You are pro-business, obviously, coming from a business background.
Yes.
And one of the things that I've heard you say in some of your other interviews that you've done is you want to keep the talent here. Do you see a problem with talented folks leaving the state of Louisiana and going to other places?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. And it's understandable. Sure. Because currently we don't have a lot to offer. Our taxes are so complicated. There's not good business options that are wanting to come and plant their roots here and establish themselves. So they're having to leave the state to go find it. I mean, nothing against Mississippi, but when Louisiana begins to lose to our neighbor Mississippi, and they're doing better in that category.
Yeah.
That's concerning. So, we have, again, a lot of work that needs to be done. I am all about our natural resources. We have amazing resources here in Louisiana, and, utilizing them and building them up and benefiting them. But at the same time, the small business owner over here who also is a part of that economic growth, who wants to see some relief as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to broaden our tax base. Right now it's currently very narrow.
Yeah.
So, that will help with a pro-business atmosphere where you have, small businesses that want to start popping up everywhere, again, helping the economic growth, whether it be more locally. And then you have the bigger businesses that are sustaining and growing and thriving and flourishing, providing, more jobs and that kind of thing. But at the same time, everybody, it's balance. The word in my heart and for this campaign for me is balance.
Love that. And I couldn't agree with you more. As a matter of fact, I would say that small business is the driver for any, not only healthy economy, but just a healthy community. The more businesses that you have thriving and growing, the more people have jobs, the more money there is to spread around, and they stay here. We all have kids around that age. I don't want any of my kids leaving Livingston Parish, much less Louisiana. Very important that you have someone, in my opinion, that is very mindful of that at the Capitol. Another thing that we want to talk about a little bit is insurance. And, you mentioned expenses for businesses and two things that are heavy expenses for businesses: insurance and taxes. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, insurance. It is outrageous.
Yeah.
The skyrocketing with our insurance, and we have felt it in our business.
Sure.
Commercial insurance policies that are required to be on properties, all the way down to our homeowners insurance.
Yes.
Everything has gone up. And I understand that we are in, natural disaster area, and we're prone to those kind of things.
There's more of a risk.
It is, but at the same time, I hear it's not just, the coastal states. This is going all the way into the heart of our country, where people, the states are feeling the effects of rising insurance costs. So, for me, I want to go to work. I've actually reached out and had conversation with Commissioner Temple. We're going to have a meeting hopefully and discuss and get really deeper into the weeds, in my opinion. There are some market-driven solutions that we can look at, but it is something that we can't ignore anymore. I know that they've brought incentives. They had that special session during the summertime and trying to bring incentives to companies to stay and not abandon or jump ship, or we had some that jumped ship and it left people stranded. That's great, and that's a start, but there's more work that needs to be done. So, and it's definitely a priority for me.
100%. And let's take it back a little bit more local and your area and the things that you want to do to improve your community. And first of all, sitting back and watching you and knowing you, and I'm sure people that may not even know you, you're a successful business owner. You have a beautiful family, and then you announce you're going to run. And I'm sure people were thinking, why do you want to get in that rat race? And so what do you say to that? What drove you to put your hat in that ring?
Well, first and foremost, I felt the Lord prompt me. To step in. I had the grace, I guess I like to say, to step in and run this race. But, aside from that, I was very concerned the direction of our state was headed. It goes back to COVID, whenever our governor issued an unconstitutional executive order, and I was against it. And I fought alongside the small businesses like Firehouse Barbecue, Danielle over there, and, churches to be able to open and people be able to worship, and students not having to wear masks to school, or the football players who are outdoors wanting to play football, fighting with the mama bears. I was doing it without realizing I was doing it. And so for me, it was just, it's time to step up, and again, I had the grace to do it. I had the direction, and a clear path. And so it was on for me. I mean, from that moment when I made the decision, it was I was going to do it 100%.
Zeroed in. And I had heard you talk about in an interview, that your daughter, wow.
That was tough. That was tough. And again, it makes me determined, if anything, also I found out, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the governor of Louisiana has a lot of power, as the office, as far as what he can and can't do. And we're second to New Jersey's governor as far as that power is concerned. Yeah. So if you have a good governor in there, you may not see a lot of that, abuse of power, if you would like to say it. But if you have a bad governor in there, then you're going to see the abuse of power, because that's what they have, from the Constitution. So I would love to see that brought in check, to where if we ever have a governor that is not for the people or the wishes of the people, they don't have that power to just wield whatever they want to do decision wise for our state. So, but that was a huge thing for me. My daughter was the only one to graduate from college. She decided to go to college. My boys, worked for the business and, did technical stuff. And I didn't get to see her walk across the stage.
Wow.
And that was tough.
That'll fire a mama up real quick, Miss Kellie. I'm just going to say.
Yes. Yeah. Great motivation.
It really is.
In the grand scheme of things, too, I mean, that was sad. It was personal for our family.
Sure.
But we can't also ignore the fact that people lost their businesses. There were so many business sweet rolls. I remember sweet rolls. Yep. Everybody was devastated about that.
I've had him in here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, people had to shut their doors and say I'm done, because they couldn't sustain, they couldn't carry through that time. And so, we lost a lot due to mismanagement of that situation, in my opinion. So, yeah. And it can't be ignored. We have to make sure that don't ever happen again.
I know a lot of people that have ran for office in the past and all of that, and it's a work. It is work. I mean, though that you announced fairly, what, about a year?
It was January. Okay. I mean, I knew long before that. I knew June of last year. Yeah.
And you've been rocking and rolling, knocking on doors and getting your message out, doing podcasts, doing media stuff. What have you liked most about running? Like, is it meeting the people or?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I tell people, grassroots, I don't have big funding behind me or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's been, small businesses that's gotten behind me, or friends and, colleagues and family, that kind of thing. But yes, absolutely. Even if I had that, I still would have gone to the people. I still would have met the people and at their door. That has been the most joyful part of this whole journey, is just, hearing them, the concerns that matter to them, or just seeing them, engage with me from the side of, who are you and what are you going to offer me?
And what is the concerns that they have? What do you hear more often?
Education, infrastructure, obviously, our roads, and then crime, actually. Yeah. They're concerned about crime out here. I mean, we've never really had a huge problem, but Baton Rouge is our back door, our neighbor, and they're concerned with crime coming.
Sure. I agree with you that that's something you definitely want to keep your thumb on. Infrastructure, been an issue forever. We're probably 30 years behind, behind. And not only that, but I'm sure flooding, obviously 2016
was very real.
Oh gosh,
for so many.
Yeah, sure was. And so any solutions there are welcome solutions. Of course, that's something. And when I look at candidates who are running, one thing I would love to see is a state rep and senator and working with your parish government, because it all ties in. There are roads that people want fixed that are state roads, and they want to blame the parish council. Right. There are stuff that are parish council roads, and they want to blame the state reps. Right. And so communication there would kind of go a long way from a business minded guy. I think that's something you would be open to communicating and
100%.
working with these people.
Yeah. That's how we built our business, was on relationships.
Yeah.
Our retention was because people knew that when we gave them our word, or if there was a problem, we fixed it. So I would absolutely carry that into the Capitol.
Yeah.
Where you build relationships, trust. At the end of the day, the goal should be what the people want,
yes,
and what our state needs, and what will cause economic growth. And you and I both know that when you have bad roads and, traffic problems, then you're going to have problem when it comes to people wanting to start businesses here, or, whether or not people are happy that those businesses are here, because it's causing more traffic. So, we absolutely, communication is key.
Yeah.
And working together and being cohesive instead of being polarized, and I think it's vital that we have a person in there that has those relational skills, that, doesn't, take things personal, or, have any type of an agenda. But, somebody that can get in there and work hard, and get these things done.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Let's talk about your district and what area it covers. A lot of times, we have several like state reps here, and they cover different districts. So what area do you have?
So it's a little, it's new, obviously, with the new redistricting of the lines that went into effect in July.
Sure.
But, and I'm a little rusty with geography, but I know that it is all of Watson, and then it goes up to it's in Walker North, up to the train tracks. I think that's Coyell Creek, in that vicinity, and then it comes up Lockhart, and it goes into East Baton Rouge Parish. You go right on Granville Springs, all the right side, Cheneyville, Baywood, up to Stony Point, and then you go. Let's see, Liberty Road to Pride Port Hudson, into to Tucker Road.
For someone that's rusty, you did that pretty good. Very good. You've said that one a few times. Yeah. And in a rather large area, a growing area. Yeah. The Watson area over the last 10 years has just exploded, like a firecracker. Mm-hmm. And beautiful facilities out that way. The high school there is something to be, admired. It's beautiful. Yeah. But there are some traffic concerns, especially around the high school area.
We need to four-lane that. It needs to be four-lane, all the way to the parish line. Yeah. Be great to go to the interstate.
It sure would.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are things that state reps do at the Capitol.
Oh, I'm going to bring funding to District 64. There's a lot that we could do out here. And we have to get the funding in order to do it. So that is definitely something that I plan to do, is to, again, take the wishes and the concerns of the people, and then go to the Capitol and see about getting the funding.
Yeah, very good. And of course, this race that you're in right now, it's a large race this year, just in general. You have a governor. We're going to have a new governor.
It's an important race.
It's a very important race. You've got parish council seats. You've got sheriff seats. You've got obviously state rep and Senate seats. Some people are going to get voted in that may be upsets, or it may be someone that you don't necessarily have a relationship with. One thing good about you that I find is you work with anybody. Mm-hmm. If it's for the betterment of the parish, you'll sit down with anybody, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You don't have to, change who you are, or, go against what you stand for, your morals, your values, that kind of thing, your principles. But you can still work with people, and you can come to the center. Again, balance is the key. Yeah. The scripture talks about narrow is the way, so to me, that's walking that balance beam, and finding that spot to where you are helping those that you're representing. Love that.
And you just brought up the scripture, and you are very faith-based, very strong in your faith. Your faith pretty much leads you, in your life. How important has that faith been when running this race, which at some points, and I want to credit you, I cannot stress this enough, your ability to kind of stay above all the noise, if you will, has been something to be admired. It's hard to do. And you just been running your race. You know, it's like, y'all have fun. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to talk about what I want to do. And, you know, from an old sales guy like me, I used to tell people I want to spend time talking myself up, not talking my competition down. And you've done a great job of that. But how important has your faith been in that?
100%. Every ounce of who I am and what I stand for and through this journey has been the grace of God, 100%.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, that is everything. Because I know who I am in Christ. You know, my identity is solid. And it's so funny because even through the first step, whenever I felt the call and the clear path that was set before me, you know, the Lord showed me how my life, everything that I've done up until this point has prepared me for this. And I didn't see it in the beginning. It was just more of a Isaiah kind of experience. Here I am, Lord, send me, I will go. You know, just a raw, not really, you know, understanding every aspect of it or all the details or any of that kind of stuff. It was just a raw yes. Yeah. Yes. But it's so amazing because how his grace has shown me, again, just, you know, situations throughout this journey where he's shown, you know, this is why you're here. This situation prepared you. This conversation over here, it has prepared you. You know, and so that's how I'm able to stand above all the noise because, you know, it's like a duck, you know, it just
Water
rolls
off.
Right. Just comes off, you know, because I know who I am and I know the reason why. And for me, that's what you see. Yeah.
100%. And I've heard you know, you've described it as your calling, and you feel like this is a calling for you. And that's a very strong, from a guy that has felt callings, that is a very, very strong thing, because sometimes nothing will make sense on paper. And you do it anyway because you feel like that's where you're being led, right?
Exactly right.
And so I love that, and I love the fact that you lead with your faith, and I think that's very important to this community in general. Now, you also have done a really good job in preparation. You've spent some time at the Capitol. Mm-hmm. You know, what did you think about that?
I mean, of course, it was very exciting to you know, be on the grounds and to see the process and how everything works. Obviously, I would love to see some things work differently. Mm-hmm. Communication, obviously, and the effects of special interest and lobbyists. I think, again, the key word, balance. Yeah. Not to say everything's bad or it needs to be done away with or any of that. It's just things have gotten out of balance. Yeah. But, you know, just the communication is the biggest thing. I would like to see, and there was actually a bill, I believe it was last session, where representatives, senators have more time to look at bills before they have to vote on them. Yeah. You know, the antics, the political antics that take place, you know, keeping things to the 11th hour and then submitting them. And at the end of the day, you might think that's a good bill and you might think it's going to represent your people, but does it represent everybody? Yeah. You know, this is a law. We're dealing with legislation. We're dealing with making laws. So I would like to see a lot of those things stop. I would like to see just getting back to the heart of what legislation should be about, and that's being statesmen. Yeah. That's working for the people. That's doing, you know, good things for the betterment of our state, so that our state goes from the bottom towards the top.
Amen to that. And yeah, sadly, and from a guy that, you know, I podcast crime a lot. I do 2 podcasts centered around crime, and we are on the bottom of crime in a lot of ways, which is not where you want to be. You want to be on the other end of that spectrum. So definitely some change needs to be acted on there. There's a problem right now with drugs and specifically in the state of Louisiana with fentanyl. Yeah. Major issue right now. Narcan is being given out like it's M&Ms.
Yes.
They're riding around on it with it in fire trucks. And so I have seen some bills come across that have addressed some of that problem, but something that I'm sure as a community, people would love to see more of a handle being got on that particular. It's killing our kids.
Well, I lost my brother to a fentanyl overdose.
I did not.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, and just one of those things. He liked to smoke pot, and he got something that was laced. So it is a very big problem. Yeah. And we need crime reform. We need to look at the laws in relation to those that are put in jail. There needs to be stricter laws in that respect.
I agree.
For those kind of harsh drugs, and in my opinion, those people don't care if the people they sell to live or die. So that's, in my opinion, premeditated.
That's right.
Right now. So in those cases, there needs to be some stricter laws, some defining lines. And then we need criminal reform on the other side, where you have those that are still in prison on small situations. Yeah. We just, again, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our state where things have gotten out of check and out of balance. I
agree 100%. And something tells me you'd help with that problem. The fentanyl crisis, something that is just way out of hand. I mean, you touch fentanyl and it could kill you. Yeah. I mean, just a little bitty bit of it. So
it's scary for our law enforcement officers.
Oh, absolutely.
Out there. Or even first responders that are out there, dealing with this that if, like you said, Narcan it's probably protocol now. Yeah. And that's unfortunate because, they're risking their lives even more. Yes. Just because of fentanyl. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a really sad situation.
And I'm glad we're having this because it's an important conversation to have. Yeah. Nobody wants to talk about drug problems and all of those sorts of things. But in some, I credit you for not, hesitating to talk about that because some people would. And it's a problem.
Well, my brother made bad decisions. He made bad choices. I never touched a drug my entire life. Yeah. And I think it's because I saw the effects that it has on people that you love and those around them. Yeah. And so my heart goes out to those because I understand. I understand where you're coming from on both sides of it. I know the struggle of a drug addict and somebody who looks to that as their source of comfort. Versus me, I look to the Lord. I never needed that and never desired that. But the other side of it too are the loved ones that have to see them, destroy themselves.
Yeah, yeah. October 14th is coming up quick.
Yes.
I mean, super quick. And we're going to try to get this out. Y'all were recording this on a Monday. I'm going to try to have this out tomorrow. We need it out as quick as possible, but it's coming up quick and it's been kind of a long road and nobody does this alone. We mentioned family earlier, but spousal support on that end is very important because you're not just you're running your race, you're running your family's race. Mm-hmm. You said it earlier. Hey, if somebody tries to, throw shade on me or whatever you want to say, don't feel like you got to defend me, and so your whole family kind of signs up when you run for office. How nice has it been to have the support? Because I know I see Scott at everything. I mean, he's right there smiling like a proud husband and great guy. How's that been?
It's been amazing. Yeah. Of course, my children would love to do more. Grace is currently getting her master's, so she's working, 50 hours a week her as a civil engineer, and then she has school 20 plus hours outside of that. I think this is her last week, and she's so excited. But she's got like a 4.0. I mean, the girl's rocking and rolling. So, but she's come and door knocked, and she's, called people, and she, talks to people all the time. My sons are the same way. My son shares everything. My husband, you're absolutely right. Yeah. He's with me by my side. We're out door knocking, talking to people. My mother, text messaging people,
Yeah.
And then I have some amazing volunteers that have, really have stepped up in such capacity that I don't even know if I could ever repay them for just the heart. And I know they're doing it because they feel like I'm the right person and for the job and they want me to be the state representative, but it's still a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so I'm very blessed with some great volunteers.
I love that. Very good. And you have a lot of support behind you. And, one thing going in that you knew was, I haven't run for politics before, so my name is not out there like maybe some of my opponents. It seems like you've overcome that a lot just by good old-fashioned hard work.
Mm-hmm. No, I knew that in the very beginning. Name recognition was the only challenge, in my opinion, because I wasn't a career politician. I was a business owner. I didn't have an agenda to further a career, any of that stuff. And I knew that if I were to reach the voter and talk to them directly or have some kind of engagement and shared that, then they would see my genuine desire to serve, to be that public servant. That was the only challenge. And I have worked very, very hard. And I feel like we have turned the table and people know me now.
Yeah, they definitely do. And they're going to know you after I drop this, I'm going to tell you. So also I want to mention you are very community oriented outside of just what you do with your businesses. Leadership Livingston. How'd you like that?
Oh, loved it. Loved it. It was a great
awesome.
program.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I did it. Timing is perfect as far as, life goes. And great program to be able to really get into the heart of not only, our parish and then our individual districts, but then the state. Absolutely covers everything.
Yes.
But even in my district, in Watson, I love to get involved with the high school and the dance team and the cheer team and I was a dancer in high school, so it goes back, and then my daughter cheered. So anything that we can do to help. The biggest challenge for me is I don't like to say, look at me.
Yeah.
It's more of just a heart to want to give and to give back. So, I don't want to have the photo op and the, social media boost or that kind of thing to say, look at what I just did. It's just the heart, and the heart, because I love my community and I love where I live.
Very good. I believe that. And I know you well enough to know that and that you mean it. You're also a member of the Chamber of Commerce, which is, you're kind of putting your money where your mouth is as far as supporting businesses in your community and business organizations. Been very active with them. So that's also, a great thing and something that some people look for. They want to see that support of community. You support, like you say, your football teams and all of those sorts of things. So you're about, what is it? The Saturday, the 14th is Saturday. Election Day. And
super excited.
Yeah, they got a lot. They're going to have people with popcorn probably for this because there's so much going on. And please, people, vote.
Please.
I haven't seen, and I don't know if you've seen the early voting turnout. Sometimes they'll post the turnout. I don't know how that's been going.
We got the numbers. I don't have the exact number with me, but it was a decent turnout. Yeah. I don't think it was as much
as people may have thought.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all waiting until Election Day.
Correct. Some people are a little leery with early voting because of the potential voter fraud.
Good point.
So they really are. So and again, we're voting in a new Secretary of State. We need to be very mindful of that.
Yes.
To protect our elections.
That's a great point.
And let me say this: we need to clean up our voter rolls because running in an election, you see. There are so many people that either don't even live here anymore or, aren't.
Passed away.
Yeah. And they're still in the voter rolls. We got to clean those voter rolls up.
Yes. See, she think you're the first one to sit down and say that, but that's very true. And obviously a Republican, we don't even need it. If you couldn't pick that up from this conversation, some of them will start out saying you're a Republican, but I like to let people figure it out. And pretty much this whole conversation, you can figure out you're a Republican and
Very conservative.
Very conservative Republican, and we love that around here. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to mention? Just go vote.
Yes, please engage. We need people to engage in the voting process and care. I understand that, the current climate in our country and in our state is, why bother? What's the point? Nothing's going to change. But it matters. That is your voice. That is your vote. It is precious. And, go vote, get engaged. And for me, I would be humbled to have that vote.
Yeah.
Because, my heart is to want to serve. My heart is to want to get in there and work. I don't wait for people to tell me what to do. I figure it out. I get in there. I go to work. And so I want to see our state rise up. I don't want to be last anymore. I want to keep our children here. I want to, have thriving businesses here where our economic growth is off the charts, where people are making more money and they're spending more money, and we just have a flourishing economy. So I would be very humbled with your vote.
Yes. And it's October 14th once again. How can they, if they want to get more information, you have a website?
I do. www.votekellyalford.com.
And we'll link that in the description of this video. So if you're driving or something like that, you can just click when you get home. It'll bring you right to that. And you have a Facebook as well.
I do. It's Vote Alford 64. And my cell phone's out there. Call me.
There you go. Give her a call.
Yeah.
Tell her you like the podcast. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks
and
for having me.
I wish you the absolute best of luck. We're almost home. It's just a short time away. So tell your husband I said hello and all your kids. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you love your community, support local business and local reps like Kellie Alford, and keep leading. Thank you very much.